Hi, this is Deborah Christofferson. I play Sue Blevins on 911. You're listening to Fandom Family Chats.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Jeanette.
I'm Tiffany.
And tonight it's our Fox night. So we're going to be talking about 911 and The Resident. 911, up first here. And this was an episode that I was really stressed going into. But there were definitely some parts that I really enjoyed, like the backstory of like Hen and Karen meeting. Loved it. And I think I don't know. I never even put any thought into like how they got together. I just in my mind, they were just always together. And so like it was really fun to see, but I had to admit I was a little confused because we saw Hen like sitting in the bar, like drinking her beer, and then like Karen walks in, but it doesn't look like Karen because she's got this hair that like I have to admit I like her other hair much better. This
terrible
like
wig.
she looks so stuffy and just like I don't know. I did not because I mean she's beautiful, but like the hair itself, I did
like
not
aged
care
her
at all.
like 15 years.
I agree. I was like, I don't care for this at all. But it was cute because when she, I mean, she came in there like blazing, like just like, okay, like what'd she say, you got 20 minutes or something? Like, I mean, she was just like, let's go. And I mean, it was so different than like the Karen we know that I'm like, who is this woman? Like, this is crazy. And Hen just, sat there and eventually, obviously they're talking and all of that. And then it comes up that they were both set up on a blind date without knowing, really. And it was Chim. I love that. I love that Chim was the reason that they like met each other.
That was sweet. I liked when they ran into Chim and Hen ran into each other sneaking out of the door.
Yes. Yeah. Because I love like even I mean, I don't know. How well did he know that? Because I mean, even when Hen calls him up and she's just absolutely complaining after that first date of like, this was terrible. Who was this woman? And he just like, so when are you going to see her again? Like he just knew that they would be perfect for each other.
What'd you say? Friday.
She knew. I mean, and they did, and even when she went back to see her though at her apartment, like at first, she was just. I mean, we see that this is clearly like right after she's gotten out of the relationship with Denny's mom, and if you call her that, I don't know, Eva, right? And is that her name? I think that's her name.
It was Eva.
Yeah. And Karen's like, I'm okay with casual. We know that's not. I mean, we clearly they were like together fast, and I love it.
Yeah, it was funny because it was like, I don't want a relationship. Okay. Like overnight, you guys bought a house together.
Sure.
That lasted long.
And I was a little surprised too by Karen's I mean, maybe not surprised. Maybe it's just because we've already seen Karen and Denny's relationship and how much like she adores him and loves him. And so it was odd to see her reaction to this, even though completely understandable. Like I feel like I might react the exact same way. I mean, so we're supposed to take your ex-girlfriend's like baby and raise it. I mean, I admit that would be a little strange for me.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I wouldn't be too comfortable with that either.
Right. But I mean, so glad that they did. I mean, look at that beautiful family that they have. And it's so, I mean, because I remember when I first started the show, like I would have never thought that like, I remember that was a big twist to me that like, this wasn't biologically like one of theirs because like just how motherly and how loving they both are towards him and always have been. So it's really beautiful just to see how all of that like came together and got started.
I love watching them as a family because they're just the way that Karen loves, this little boy that not only are they not related to her at all, but I mean, he didn't have anything to do with her. It was just Hen and her ex. But the way she loves him as he's getting older, it's sweet. They have such a sweet family together. I'm really glad that Hen's not leaving also. And I like how she asked Denny about that.
Mhm.
What do you think of mom staying there? Fireman outfit is cooler.
Yeah.
Like scrubs.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's true. I mean, we're all happy about this as well, you know?
Yeah, I was really
Uh,
worried.
mhm, mhm. Which, I mean, at the beginning when they're talking about like just their jobs or whatever, and he's obviously going to work with Karen that day, and Hen acted like she was a little jealous. He was like, "Well, I can't go to work with you." So, I mean, obviously, he probably would rather go to like a firehouse than like a laboratory. And in this case, I feel like he would have been safer going to work with Hen than he would go with Karen because it was the wrong day to take your child to work.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Mhm.
Kind of a bad day for that.
I remember,
I mean, but luckily Denny was okay. You know, he
yeah,
was.
yeah. But when the show first started, because we knew from the previews that like there was going to be an accident at Karen's work. When I saw that he was going to the office with her, I think I even messaged you all. I'm like, oh, no, no, no. We didn't know Denny was going to be there. Like now I'm like way more stressed out thinking about what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was bad enough when it was just Karen, but
Yeah.
he didn't look like he had, even a scratch on him, so he was good.
Yeah. Which I guess thankfully it probably the way the building's designed, I'm assuming it kept it contained to the room that the explosion happened in.
Yeah.
And thankfully, like what was her name? That worked with
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to think of.
Oh, it was a really pretty name. I remember thinking, oh, I love that. Yeah, I can't think
I
of
don't
it.
remember.
Either way, good thing she was there to like make sure that Denny got out because he wanted to go check on his mom, which is understandable. Of course, he wanted to go check on his mom, but it wasn't safe for him to do that. So it's good that they got him out of there quickly.
Yeah, his chaperone kind of looked like she had, you know, been beaten up a bit when
Yeah.
she walked out.
Yeah, no. Which I mean, I
And
guess
oh
is
my
good.
gosh, that poor woman, her arm,
Her arm, like,
that freaked me out a bit watching that.
mhm. Yeah. But it was also, I think, really helpful. I mean, maybe not helpful, but like good that like Denny happened to be on the phone with Hen
Mm.
when it happened because I mean, she knew immediately that something was wrong. And she rushed right up there. I mean, she almost beat the fire department. Like she got there like right as they did.
Yep, that sounds like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was ready to suit up and go right on back in there. And Bobby was like, you don't work here anymore. And two, like I can't let you go into here like looking for your wife who's been in an explosion. Like, no, you're way too close to this.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely wouldn't be thinking straight in that situation.
No,
She's
no.
just thinking about getting Karen out.
Yeah, as anyone would, and Athena was there. Like she got there in time to like kind of, almost babysit him and make sure that like she didn't do anything silly. Um, but it was also helpful that Hen was on the outside because that the other guy that came from the other room, basically to tell him like, hey, there's more gonna happen here. He was in really terrible shape too. That was awful.
I thought he was a zombie at first
Yeah.
because the way he was walking,
Yeah.
like falling over, and then like his mouth was kind of like ripped open. I'm like, are there
Yeah.
zombies on 911 now? What is going on?
Yeah. He was in bad shape.
It was bad.
But I mean, like, kudos to him to be in like so much pain and like all of this, and you're still like wanting to warn people that like something else is going to happen. So that was, I really appreciated that because I mean, like, imagine being in that situation. I feel like you would almost go into self-preservation, like, and just, or even just your mindset may just be off. But he was like, no, we've got to tell them like not to go in there.
Yeah, that was a weird situation.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that looked very painful for him.
Yes. But him, like, rock star, like watching her work and get him intubated when like it was almost impossible. Like that
Gosh,
was
I don't
cool.
even know how she did that.
No, I mean, because she's amazing. I mean, I feel like that's just like I don't know if anyone else could have been able to pull that off like she could.
No. And then when Karen finally came out, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Hmm.
She's okay.
Yeah.
She's perfect. Everything's fine.
Yeah, because I was so
Oh,
nervous.
oh,
Like,
wait. Hold on, I spoke too soon.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
was very scared while they were in the
I
ambulance
thought we were
holding him there.
pulling, and I mean, I'm gonna say it because I have to say these all the time. I thought we were pulling a Grey's Anatomy, where like, you're worried about them, and then they make it out, and you think life is good, and then they're like, but wait, there's more, and then they kill them. Like for a second there, I was like, oh no, this is DeLuca all over again. Like you fooled us. So thankfully, Fox is not as mean as ABC and Shonda Rhimes are. And they didn't do that because I don't know how I could have. I mean, that would have been bad, really bad. I mean, I was already like scared about it, but like it's when you pull the fake out that I don't like even more so.
Mhm.
So she
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, I thought for sure that I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she's gone now.
Yeah.
I mean, she's gone in the ambulance. Okay, well, that's the end of her.
Well, This Is Us is another one that scarred me, like with like fires and stuff. And here she's like, looks like she's like having a heart attack. I'm like, it's Jack Pearson. Clearly, I watched too much traumatizing TV, and like all of these other deaths like flash in my mind when I'm watching this stuff. I was like, no, please don't do this to us. Don't do it. One thing though, like I mean, obviously this is part of what put Karen in danger for us, but like I really appreciate the person that she is, and that when they found out, that there was another, incident that might happen, and they're letting Bobby know, like she was like, no. Well, I mean, even before that, they tried to get her out. She was not leaving until like they took care of the girl who had lost her arm. And then when finally Bobby was like, Buck, get her out of here. And Buck is basically like having to like drag her out of there. She still wanted, she's like, when she heard that, I mean, she still wanted to stick around and like try to help and make sure that like more didn't go wrong, even though it did. I mean, because they didn't get to the guy in time opening the door. But I don't know, I think that says a lot about her character and why we love her so much, because, she was willing to like risk it all for like the people she works with and all of that. So
Yeah, not a lot of people would do that.
no, I mean, really, they wouldn't. And I mean, I don't know that I would. And I don't, there's not necessarily like anything wrong. I mean, like, I would want to get out of there as quick as I could to my family to make sure that I'm safe. So
Mhm.
I think it takes a really special person to be able to like put that aside and like, risk it for them. So,
And even when she woke up in the hospital, the first thing she did was ask about her coworker
yeah,
and her son.
yeah, yeah. So thank
Oh,
you
and
for
she
not
made poor Hen go home to be with Denny.
going.
That was
Mhm.
so sweet.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think I would do that too, though. Like, I'm good here. Like, my kid's just been through a really traumatizing event. Like, go take care of them. So that was good. But yeah, I mean, so like all of this though, Hen is now not gonna leave the 118. Yay. Um, because I was really stressed about that. I've said that the last like 3 podcasts. Like, wait, if she really like I'm happy that she's pursuing her dreams and we want her to be happy, but what happens to us? Like, I was being a little selfish. So we get to keep her. So
That
I'm
was a
good.
nice storyline. Stop pursuing your dreams now. Thank you.
You could do it. We're proud of you. And now let's go back to normal. Thank you.
I feel like all of that schooling she did though was a waste
I'm
almost.
gonna be honest. If my husband put me through that time and that money that I spent on medical school and then was like, nah, I'm cool. I'm just gonna stick to being a firefighter. I'm not sure if I'd be as graceful as Karen. I mean, one, not just because of that, because now you're gonna be like, I mean, doing stuff that's dangerous. Like, I was just getting you out of that. So that kind of stinks.
Yeah, I don't imagine that any sort of medical training is cheap.
Oh, I'm sure it's a lot, especially on, I mean, of course, now that we know, like, we didn't know exactly what Karen did. The fact that you basically, like, I don't, does she work? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's NASA or either way, you work for like something super important.
Mhm.
So you probably make good money if I'm guessing. I mean, they probably do okay.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. The other one little thing that happened in the episode, when the lady from, I guess, the with the foster kids stopped by because Karen had said they wouldn't be doing that anymore, with Hen's schedule. And Hen seemed like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean we're not doing this anymore? So I kind of like that, because maybe that means that they will, in fact, be able to foster more, and maybe even get to adopt someone, because I know that was something that I wished had happened with the little girl that they had. I mean, I'm glad that she got to reunite with her mom. I mean, that's great and all, but I was wanting Hen and Karen to get to keep her.
Mhm.
So maybe we'll get to see more of that storyline.
I mean, they're such great moms, and
Mhm.
you can see how well Denny is turned out and
Yeah.
how much he loves them.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see them have a bigger family.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. But that's really about all for this week. And we gotta wait 2 weeks for another episode. So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
But Monday's Halloween, so it's kind of
Oh,
expected, I think.
that's true. Yeah. Although next week, no, 2 weeks looks really interesting.
Yeah. It kind of had, like, even though like it's gonna be after Halloween, it kind of had like a really spooky vibe.
It did. I got that Halloween vibe from it too. I'm like, hey, you guys are playing this too late. What's going on?
I know. But I will always take a spooky episode, because like I love all things spooky.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Hen, or not Hen, but Chim too. Like, it made me think of, there was one episode where he was worried about some kind of luck or something, and I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Someone had done something that like had messed up the luck or whatever, and so this is kind of the same type thing. Like, I love that he's superstitious like this and kind of funny about it, but there's some sort of curse going around that he's worried about. So
And you keep seeing this snake bracelet on all the victims.
mhm.
The
Yeah.
one woman in like the spa, she had like stuff covering her
was
face. It
that?
freaked me out. I don't know.
I couldn't tell what that was, but I didn't like
It
it.
looked like wax almost. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh God.
She probably can't breathe. I mean, imagine like,
Suffocation is one of my biggest
I
terrors.
think that is my, like, I think that would be
Yeah.
the worst way to die. Like, it'd be awful. But Eddie obviously brought, because Eddie has the snake bracelet, so I don't know if he brought it from somewhere, and that's what Chim's like upset about, because he's like, I told you, like. I think it'll be a fun episode. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, that's all for 911. So now we're going to discuss The Resident, and Maureen is going to jump in here and talk with us. Hi.
Hello.
This week of The Resident, it was another really good episode. I think it might have been my favorite so far. We only had one medical case that we were dealing with though this time.
Mm-hmm. I think it was interesting. I wish I could remember the name of the girl and her mom, but I don't. Does anyone remember what her name is?
I never remember patients' names. I
Especially
don't.
if you know they're just gonna be in and out. But this mom, I mean, maybe she might be there a little longer.
She might.
She's a potential investor from Silicon Valley because the governor is going to cut their funding by at least
by third. Yeah,
so
that's what I heard, anyways.
So she's a potential investor in town, presumably to meet with Belle, which is why would Belle arrange that on his wedding weekend? Like, even if it's not the day of your wedding, dude, you're gonna go somewhere for a honeymoon, aren't you? I mean, I know you live together and I know you're older and you've been through this before, but still.
The same reason that Kit is like trying to get meetings with the governor on her wedding weekend. So
True. Well, I mean, this investor shows up and Belle's the only person she knows in Atlanta. So obviously Belle's going to take it. And obviously, since she's important, I mean, Conrad is going to be the one assigned to her, because who's better at diagnosing things than Conrad Hawkins? And this is not he's so pretty thing. It's like, genuinely, he's the best.
he's really that good.
Job. So there's another way. And I love the ASL storyline too. I really thought that was neat. I love seeing the interaction between the mom and daughter. I thought that was really well done. So, I mean, kudos to the actors who played mother and daughter. I wonder if the girl who plays the daughter really had a hearing deficincy or not, but it was really fun to watch.
Only because when she finally, she spoke to Cade once, and it just like just the way
that's what I thought too.
Sounded. I think she maybe was. I don't know that for sure, but I think so.
And I mean, she wasn't always deaf, but she was young enough when she went deaf from the meningitis that I don't think she ever learned proper speech patterns, so she wouldn't have been able to do that. And I think I like how they worked that in there. That it wasn't like they were just saying, because there have been episodes where we've complained that it's just like they're reading off a list, all the problems and why it's a problem. And that's, who wants to watch that?
Right.
But the way she was so impassioned when she talked about why she gave the public hospitals, and she was so impassioned when she talked about how they didn't have the resources to cover her, and that's why she's there. And I did, this line made me laugh out loud, and I couldn't even help myself, even though I'm mad at him right now. But when she's like, my assistant just sent me the best pediatric surgeon in the country, I'm gonna call him. Ian picks up and she's like, you're here. And he went, I am. There's something about that line. I just laughed out loud when he said it.
But as soon as she said the best pediatric surgeon, I was thinking, but wait, he's there. So
I didn't
and then when
even
his
catch
phone
it.
rang, I was like, there it is.
I didn't catch it until his phone rang. I thought, okay, what's gonna make her stay though? She's gotta stay. What's gonna keep her here?
No, as soon as she was like the best, I'm like, we've been talking about how he's the best at everything. Like she's gonna be calling him.
Yeah, well, I forgot that.
Yeah.
I was trying to pretend that I still like Ian in between the
No.
episodes.
We do not.
He
mean,
lost
even
my
if the-
respect after this episode.
Absolutely. He lost my respect the first time he did this
Yeah.
nonsense, but I can forget between episodes because I'm not in front of it. But even if I had even a shred, a morsel of any left, he lost it all this episode.
Well, I mean, and not what he did last week. Not that that was okay, but at least that was something that he had been taking, something he was comfortable. He knew how it would affect him. He knew the side effects. He knew he could handle it. This was simply, you just needed to get a fix, and you basically just took whatever you could get your hands on.
Is that no? I
And
didn't see
that-
what he grabbed. Is that what he did? Because I couldn't see the vial.
I don't know what it was exactly, but it obviously was a vial of something, which is not what you've been taking. You've been taking pills.
Yeah.
So even if it was the same drug, which I don't know, because I don't know exactly what he's been taking, but even if it's the same drug, if you take it intravenously, is that the correct way to say it?
Yeah.
It's gonna affect you different because it's gonna go straight to your bloodstream. You're gonna react different, and he knows this. He's a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I just like to watch them on TV, but I know this. You know, like there's
Addicts hit different.
that really stressed me out.
I know. And the fact that, I mean, Conrad actually said, I can't find a cause. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It is what it is. And the fact that she deteriorates, I mean, we talked a little bit about this last week, the choice a parent would have to make. And obviously all three of us, I think, would make the same exact decision for our kid, without a doubt. But to see, my other point was that a kid growing up knowing that they were the cause for their parents' death, and you could see that in the way this girl said, is she going to be okay? And the fact that that was her first question was just a little heartbreaking.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it would be awful if that was the case. I would still do it.
Absolutely.
But
it's your kid.
Yeah, that was tough.
It's almost like you don't have another choice.
What were the chances that your daughter's in liver failure and all of a sudden you've got heart problems on the same day? So they just appeared on the same day. Like, what kind of luck is that?
Well, it sounds like her daughter had been building up a little bit, but she went into full-fledged failure that morning. It sounds like
a little bit though, but it sounded like it still came on super fast.
Because she did, when Conrad said, were her eyes that's yellow this morning, she said no. So I mean, jaundice shouldn't, at least as far as my kid had jaundice when she was little and it was on her skin. But if they said when it gets to her eyes and it's full blown, but it takes a minute to get to the eyes. So
yeah,
that's a scary, especially to watch your kid. I mean, by the end, wasn't she in almost total, all of her organs started failing towards the end? Is that what they said?
Yeah, total organ failure.
Can you imagine being that mother, watching your kid go through this, having surgeons tell you, we will not let you be a donor, and to be that, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what that mother had to have been feeling and going through, knowing that there's a very real chance they wouldn't operate on you and your daughter was going to die before your eyes. I can't imagine that pain. And I think the actress did a really, really great job acting exactly as all of us would act in that same situation.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, luckily AJ was there because you know, he's the cardiothorac genius.
Didn't
I know that's what he called himself. And I was like, should I say that or no?
Cardio god, so it's not quite the same.
I keep thinking about when we first met AJ and how, because I don't know why, I think it was because it was such an AJ heavy episode, but I was thinking about when we first met him, I wonder if Malcolm Jamal Warner thought he was going to have this kind of arc in this show, if he thought he was going to stay this permanent, because when we first met him, he was a different sort of guy. And I still remember that scene where he came in, he's like, no one touches these hands. These are God's hands. Like, that's what I think of when I think of AJ as a surgeon.
Yeah.
And he was there. And the fact that Bell I don't think it was just that Belle was trying to keep an investment. I don't think that's what it was.
No.
I think Belle has come, and that's the other beautiful thing about this is I think Belle has come so full circle
Mhm.
that he was just there because he really wanted to see this succeed for this mom and this daughter. And
Yeah.
that's what it was about. It wasn't about, and he even told her that at one point when she said something about the funding. He's like, I'm not doing this to keep your money.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save you and I'm trying to save her. And they handled her part.
Mhm.
And Ian had to beg Leela to come in on her day off because he couldn't do it. It just, it makes me mad. And the fact that what he said to her, let's see what you're made of. Well, couldn't you have pawned it off on her and been like, okay, so do your work and I'll supervise. I'll stand back. Couldn't you have been that responsible to say that to her?
Mhm.
You said you want to see what she's made of. So see what she's made of. Don't continue to go through with the procedure when you know that you are struggling that hard.
Yeah. And I really hope someone is going to say something. I mean, Leela probably hasn't worked with him enough to know how different he was acting. But I tell you who has, it's Jessica.
Yep.
She's been in that OR a bunch of times. And you could tell even when he asked for music that she thought it seemed odd.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of had a face too when something went wrong. And Leela was like, well, can't we just try this? Obviously something he probably should have known. And that's
Yep.
why he was like, oh, of course. But we shouldn't have to. He tried to cover it up. And Jessica kind of had a look on her face too. So maybe it'll be her that'll be like, something's off with him.
I think it'll be good to give her a bigger spotlight because I think they've been subtly trying to work her in a little more.
Yes.
And I like it. And even like, not Tasso, Irving.
Yeah.
Irving was in more of this episode too. And I really enjoy seeing more of him and Jessica. I like that, bringing that forward. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah.
I think that they're both likable characters and they're endearing. I mean, they took us through that when Jessica got hurt. They made us connect with her then. And then it's almost like they just took her away after that. So I think it would be good to give Jessica that storyline to be.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick was known as the whistleblower, right? Maybe Jessica has learned from Nick and she'll stand up and start to do the same way that Nick did.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's sheer luck that that girl didn't die on the table.
Yeah.
I don't know how he didn't screw up. Something with a beat. That song was just like, it was weird when they went to Belle and AJ's room and the music was so loud, but their room was silent. So you could just like hear it through the wall. Wonder what they're thinking right now, but they didn't flinch. Nothing could take away from what their surgery was. And that's what freaking Ian should have been like.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
And I will say that Cade staying with the girl really endeared me to her a lot in this episode.
I mean, yeah, I liked it.
We
I
were
don't know
trying
that
to
I
learn
liked it
the
as
sign
much.
language.
Like, and I mean, maybe it's just because it's Kate. I mean, like, I think it was nice. I mean, I think it was nice of her, and I think, but like, it didn't like impress me because I'm like, well, I mean, we've seen all of them kind of have that. It was almost like that's how you should be. So like, kudos for doing what you're supposed to do, kind of thing. Like,
I don't think it was kudos for me for that. I think it was she's becoming one of them.
Which
So she's
I
now
am
likable.
cool with that. Yes, and I mean, I definitely don't dislike her like I used to. I kind of feel nothing at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I just don't. If she wants to leave, cool, she can leave. But like, I'm not like you need to go like now. You know? So
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's
You
fine.
sound like Maureen.
Hey, I was
Imagine
going to
that.
attempt to defend myself, and then I ran through everything I've said about her over the last year, and I realized I don't ever like to stand on here.
Yeah, no. I mean, like that was nice. I mean, like, I'm glad she did, and I'm glad that, you know, she sent Conrad on to the wedding though. So I was gonna get mad if he was gonna stay with her.
That's the other big thing that happened in this episode, aside, because this is the one case we had.
Yes.
But obviously the wedding was also happening. And this is an episode we've been waiting for because we read, I think we found out, was it before the season aired that episode 6 was going to be the wedding?
We knew it was gonna be the 100th episode. I don't think we were sure which.
Oh, was this the
episode that
100th?
was.
I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I saw pictures of 100th episode, but I didn't know if it was this one we watched or one they've filmed and we haven't seen yet. Oh.
I think it was this one, the wedding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was here for it. I mean, we've been waiting for this for so long.
Their rehearsal was cracking me up though, because I mean, the poor like wedding planner was just like, can we do this?
Felt that
like, yeah.
deeply.
We've done this before, you know.
Oh, it does not matter. You've done it before. You still run through a rehearsal.
I don't know. I mean, that's you being a wedding planner though, because me from experience of being married, like I know that like we ran through ours a million times and things still went wrong. So I'm just like, why did I waste those like moments? Like stuff still went wrong and it was fine. It was fine.
See, on all the weddings
The
that
end
I've
result
done,
was still the same. I
It's
was
true.
married.
and all the weddings I've done, when we've done a rehearsal where they actually paid attention and did what they were doing, there wasn't a misstep the next day. And
Well,
if
we
there
had
was,
several
nobody
chil-
but me knew about it.
we had lots of children in our wedding party, so like there were missteps
Well, that's
because
on you.
they're kids.
These were all adults.
You
And
gotta have like ring bearers and flower girls and stuff.
that's the other thing I thought was weird. Okay, did we already practiced everything else, I guess. But they weren't practicing where they actually got married. So my wedding planner went to, where are they rehearsing this? And why are they rehearsing in a different spot than where they're performing it? That doesn't help anybody.
But then again, maybe the plan was different until he was late. Like maybe he was gonna meet her at the bottom of the stairs and like continue on, but
suppose.
obviously that was different. So, and also like you work backwards, or like every wedding I've been with, like you like start at the altar and then like as you rehearse it, you're working. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not, no, you're not supposed to start there.
Or at least that's how it is here. Like my wedding and all of the weddings I've ever been in.
Why?
I don't know. Like you to start with, and then you run it through one full time from the very beginning. But like you start and you do it backwards. Like I don't know.
I've never had a bride do that before. I always run front to back twice through, at least twice. We
Yeah.
start at the front where we're all talking, okay, this is what is going to happen. This is where you're going to go. This is how you're going to do it. This is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
This is what you need to say. And then we do a full rehearsal front to back.
Yeah,
and then we
that's
do a
what I
full
meant.
rehearsal
Like you
again, front
start
to
up
back.
there with like placements, and then you like kind of work backwards in the ceremony.
Oh, I thought you meant that you like did the ceremony, like
Oh.
you.
No,
I was like, what's
you just start,
happening
like-
where you're
like
at?
placement, and then you work backwards.
Okay. Yeah, they need to know
I
where
thought
they're
that
going
was
to
what
stand
she
when they
meant
go up
too.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I was like, is this weird? So like that's what I was saying. Maybe they were at the end of the like maybe they had already like started in there and they'd worked backwards and like they were at the point where my guess is she was going to come down that beautiful staircase. He was going to meet her and they were going to walk down the aisle together, because it's not like she has somebody giving her away. Like
Mhm.
and they both been married before, so I thought this
Doesn't
is
she
probably what
have
they're doing.
kids?
Yeah, they weren't there though. She has 2 daughters, doesn't she?
Is it 2 daughters? I couldn't remember because I know we dealt with. I didn't know. I couldn't remember if that was her son or her son-in-law that was
Son-in-law.
sick at one
Son-in-law.
time. Was it her son-in-law? Okay.
Pretty sure she has 2 daughters. I don't think either of them were there.
Or maybe they were there. Maybe they were just in the like, because it's not like she had a bunch of people standing up. Like maybe we didn't see them. Maybe they were sitting and.
Well, I was thinking she had a son who would walk her down the aisle. Is what
Oh,
my
no.
head was. But if it's son-in-law, it wouldn't work that way.
I was really excited to see Jake and Sammy though.
Oh my god!
I was so glad. I didn't realize how much I missed them.
Yeah,
Right?
I love the guy that plays Jake. When they
Mhm.
first brought him on, I thought for sure we were going to keep him, and I was
Yes.
like really excited. Like to the point that I was watching this, I was like, okay, I'm officially going to finish How to Get Away with Murder because I miss him, and I never finished that show, so I'm gonna go do it.
I didn't know that's what he was on. Because I
He
know
was
that
my
the reason he
favorite.
left The Resident was for his Broadway show, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So
he
maybe,
done?
but he moved away in the show, so maybe he would have to move back in order to be more present.
So move back.
I don't know.
What's
so-
Greg doing? Why can't Greg ever come? Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
Have we seen him since
The
they
last
adopted
2
Sammy?
times that he's been back, like he's not, I almost called him Conrad because that's his name in real life. Jake.
Could you have maybe hired someone, resident people who didn't have the same name as one of our characters? That would have made our lives easier.
So much easier.
But yeah, it was just Jake and Sammy the last time and this
Mhm.
time.
Which is fine. I like seeing them too, but I'd like to see Greg as well.
I mean, this was a family event, and your daughter is walking on the. So it's just weird that not both of you would come.
Maybe I don't know, like maybe he
It's
couldn't
a
get off.
family
I don't
wedding.
know.
It's weird that he wasn't there.
I agree. Maybe they got a dog at home. They couldn't find a sitter for the dog. I don't know. You know,
There-
maybe they didn't want to board it.
He's a plastic
won't-
surgeon. They can
I-
bring him to a border.
But speaking of Sammy, I mean, like, how cute. I loved that first Gigi was like, couldn't wait till Sammy got there. And then immediately they hugged each other. And I'm like, these two, like, I don't think my heart can take how cute they are.
So cute.
So
Definitely need more Gigi and Sammy.
mhm.
Yes.
But then the stupid airline, you lose their dresses. Like, this is kind of important. But it actually worked out, I think, because they got better dresses.
I really love the dressing with them. They're so cute in that dress shop. They're like, I
Mhm.
want to try this. I want to try this.
I loved how great like Billy was. Like, I mean, she just piped up me like, I'll take them, and like cool with it.
Mhm.
Like, wanted to do it.
And I like the freedom that they had too, because they came up with fairy dresses and it was perfect.
I love their dresses. Their little wings.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was adorable.
Well, like, I mean, what did kids say? Or was it Jake that said it? Like, you know,
How can
you
who
say
can
no
say
to that
no to this
face?
face? I
Mhm.
mean, accurate.
I agree. I couldn't say no to that face,
No.
which, Kit was a friggin' genius to put
She's
her
like, you're right.
right there.
And that story, I mean, obviously we watched that story play out, but the way Sammy presented that story, I got very teary-eyed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a good story. I mean, like, how were you going to say no to a meeting at that point?
Mhm.
You can't.
Yeah.
You take Sammy with you to the meeting. I'm just saying.
She needs to have Sammy's face just like all over the hospital.
Mhm. Maybe then the governor won't cut their funding by a
By a
third.
third.
By a third. I was actually, there was two different points where they said, and of course if our funding's going to get cut, and I actually leaned in waiting
did
for it,
too.
and they didn't say it.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I feel like I want to start a drinking game for like how many times they say that they're getting their funding cut, but I don't think my liver can handle it. And this is episodes all about, I don't want to mess my liver up over here, but
It was at least 4 different times the exact phrase funding cut was said.
yeah.
That phrase alone, not even, it was said other ways, but the phrase cut our funding was said at least 4 times in this episode.
Yeah.
And it was all within the same scene.
I mean, I guess they were just really trying to drive this home.
In case we forgot. I mean, in case
Yeah.
we forgot that, hospitals need money. Maybe they're concerned that we're all idiots.
I don't know.
I mean, it's reasonable to assume that.
I was at least happy that they didn't mention the third because I really was. I was like, okay, cool. They didn't say that.
They're
So,
going to gradually break away from that.
yeah.
Next week, it's just going to be the word funding instead of cut our funding.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, we won't get it all. But then we'll say it'll start being getting money in. That's
Yeah.
they're gonna do a bait and switch with us.
Yeah.
I
But
thought for sure Belle was gonna miss his wedding.
I did too. Well, I mean, technically he didn't he? Because he said when
Yeah.
he got there, he's like, they're all still here. So I thought,
Mhm. I knew for a fact. I was like, there's no way that the thing is, even if they had already left, like you guys
Kit
were
would
gonna
be
get
there.
married. Like Kit
Mhm.
was gonna make it happen that night.
yeah,
There's no doubt. But I am glad they stuck around. It was dark though. So like as a mom, I'm thinking,
yeah.
what time is it? Like, shouldn't Gigi and Sammy be in bed now? Or at least Gigi. Maybe not Sammy, because she's a little older, but like, I don't know. I'd be like, I don't know about it. Y'all gonna have to like get this going.
I mean, how great is Kit though? Where she's like, well, that's one of the reasons I want to marry him. Like,
I know.
I want a Kit in my life who just understands my quirks and still likes me for them.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I think in those situations, it's helpful that they're both surgeons since
Yeah.
they share the same passions. Because maybe someone else who doesn't quite understand that wouldn't be as understanding. Because you would be like, you wouldn't understand the demands of it, and you would be like, well, why couldn't you just, get someone to cover that, or like this is an important day. So I think it helps that they both understand that.
Yeah, and then also knowing Belle, she understood that he wouldn't be there unless he had to be there.
Yeah.
So she knew that he wasn't just like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna stay and take advantage of this surgery time. It was these people need me. And in fact, it took 4 surgeons to do that job.
Mhm.
So he was there because he had to be there. And Kit knew that there's no way he would abandon her to do something that wasn't necessary.
Mhm. And of course, like she said, he was worth the wait. And I thought that was so sweet.
I did too. And I mean, again, I'm going to go back to his character arc. That was so rewarding to hear someone say that.
Mhm.
And their vows when he was like, thank you for being the person that, or he said, I should have wrote it down. He said something along the lines of, everything that's good in me is because of you.
Mhm.
Thank you for being the
sweet.
woman that makes me want to be the man I am today. Like, oh,
It's
yes,
so
because we
sweet.
remember you before, Belle.
Mhm.
I was a little confused by him having to rush to get to the ceremony, and everybody he was in the hospital with was already sitting in the room.
I thought that too.
What?
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Although I thought, because the one I noticed was Leela, but I thought, well, maybe that was Padma.
No,
But then
I'm
I
pretty- she
didn't-
was
I
in
don't
that
think it
same
was.
dress
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
she had on with Devin. Yeah. You should know. I mean,
I-
you're the
I
one that can tell
know.
them apart over any of us.
That's what I was trying to like find a workaround, but they're like, no, that's
No,
not.
it
that's
was
not
definitely
Padma.
Leela. Which Leela, fine. Like maybe they got like I don't know, because I mean, even though we saw the surgeries happening at the same time, like it's possible that some things were different. But wasn't AJ already there?
Yeah, I think so.
He-
Well, I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he
Mhm,
was.
He was. I saw him.
Like he was the one that let Belle go and was like,
While he
I'll
closed up.
finish
Yep.
this.
Mhm.
So
And I
how'd
mean, it
that
would
work?
be different if he showed up in like scrubs,
But he was
and
all
then Belle was
buff-
in it because maybe Belle would have had to stop and make himself presentable. But no, AJ was more presentable than Belle was almost. So
Yeah.
Yep, all the men were in their nice suits. The women had their dresses on, their hair done, their makeup, everything looking perfect. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
What did Belle do? Stop and grab dinner on the way? What's going on?
which I
I know.
have to say, I like Conrad in a suit.
Well, yeah. I like Devin in a suit. I like AJ. I mean, they all looked pretty good in their suits, if I'm being
But I mean, we
honest.
almost never see Conrad in a suit,
I know that's true.
like ever.
Yeah.
We've
That's true.
seen AJ dressed up. We've seen Devin dressed up. We almost never see Conrad
I
dressed
think
up.
I've seen Logan in a suit quite a few times, so I just
Yeah,
picture
but
that.
that was in like the
I don't
early
know.
2000s where it was suits were like baggy and
That's
bulky
true.
and
They were.
brown.
Now they're like fitted. I'm
Yes.
here for it. Yeah.
And it was all black. And just, I don't know, he just looked really good.
I agree. Completely. I'll tell you who else looked good though. Was Jake.
Yeah.
And him singing that song at the
Oh my
reception.
gosh.
Oh my gosh. I was like, wow. I like this.
So
Like I
good.
think I knew he could sing. I mean, obviously because he was on Broadway. Like we
Yeah.
knew he could sing. But like I don't think I'd ever heard him
Mm-mm.
sing.
I hadn't.
You
And
know,
I was like,
sometimes people can have a Broadway voice and not such a
Mhm.
great like regular song voice, but
Mhm.
he like
He's got both.
can apparently do everything.
Yes.
So I hope we like get more of that. We
Yeah.
probably won't, but I would like to get more of Jake singing something.
No.
Maybe we'll get like a
Mhm.
scene where they move back and he's in the kitchen with Sammy cooking and singing. Like that would be awesome.
That'd be so cute.
But
Yes.
I actually audibly was like, okay,
Me too.
all right.
Me too.
It's a perfect song choice too.
Yeah.
Okay, remind me of the song because I was singing along with it, but my chemo brain, I cannot remember what it is offhand.
I can't help
Can't help
Yes.
falling in
with
love
you.
with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was Elvis.
Mhm. Yep. And then I mean, just hearing that song, then we've got like Kit and Belle dancing, and that was so beautiful. And I think that's is that when she told him that she got the meeting with the governor, and he was
Mhm.
just like,
Mhm.
"You're
Yep.
amazing," you know.
Mhm.
That was nice.
Their moments.
Mhm.
They had a lot of really sweet moments.
really
I
did.
love them together.
So
They're one of my
much.
favorite couples now.
Mhm.
I think they are my favorite resident couple.
Yeah. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, I still like Devin and Leela, but it's mostly because I like Devin.
Yeah, no,
mean-
Kit and Belle are my favorite all around
Yeah,
couple.
yeah, I think so. They're not my favorite soon-to-be couple though.
Devin and Leela are so
Back and forth.
wishy-washy and undecided about
Mhm.
everything.
I think
Yeah,
they're good.
They're
now.
just getting on my nerves now.
I feel like we're on the right track now.
We're on the right
so
track, but they're still
I'm hoping
uncertain.
it stays. I'm hoping it stays. I'm hopeful.
I don't think they're uncertain about their commitment to each other. I think that they've landlocked that and they're together,
Mhm.
whether or not, no matter what happens. But I think what they're uncertain is what they want. In their
I think they're
relationship.
gonna have babies and be happily married.
Well, I think they
it's
will
gonna
too, but I don't think they realize that now. I think that
No.
they're still in their heads debating. But Kit and
They
Belle
do,
are pretty
though.
solid, and Kit and Belle
Yeah.
are like they
No, I
know
agree.
who they are.
No, I agree.
And I did like that Conrad walks up to Billy singing that song. Like, dude,
It's not like he has like a lovely singing voice. He doesn't. But it was
No.
still, there was something about the way he sang it that I was like, I still like this.
Okay, but here's the thing though. I have high standards for Conrad.
Mhm.
And while I don't want him with Cade, he is with Cade. So for you to walk up to Billy singing this unbelievably romantic, sweet song, like sashaying your hips as you walk up to her singing this song, it doesn't matter that you stood at a wall next to her. It doesn't matter because the point was made.
That's not what you do with friends.
No,
It's not what you do with friends.
certainly not what you do when you're in a relationship with somebody else either.
But that's okay because she wasn't there. And I'm okay with it because this is
Not
going
okay.
this is going exactly where I want it to be. I'm fine with all of it. All of it. Sorry, Kate.
I would have rather he said something to Cade first.
Well, I honestly don't think he realizes. I think right
No.
then he doesn't know because he's not the kind of guy that would do that to Kate because I think he cares for her too.
That's what I'm saying. So the fact that he like serenaded Billy, like it was like,
Yeah.
dude, take a look at what you're doing right now, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, he was just being playful in that moment, but clearly like, and the thing is, if like Billy didn't have feelings for him being playful, I don't think it would have meant if we didn't know they have feelings for each other, because we can tell. I think it could have just been a playful, friendly scene. But because we know that there's like something more behind that on both ends, it made it feel differently.
Yeah. And I think they made it clear last week that he realized that he might be having feelings for her.
Yeah.
So the fact that he did that this week kind of feels like
I think he's just
subconsciously
all
you know exactly what you're doing.
It's
It's
a
because he did it because
wedding.
he wanted to.
Yeah.
That's what
but
it
it's
is.
a wedding. You're all hopped up on like all the lovey feelings.
Look at
She
you
just
excusing
took-
his bad behavior.
I will all day long. I will do it all day long and not care. I mean, like just everything with him and Billy this episode. Like going back just so we talked about like them like shopping, like and Billy makes a point to like say something like my girl. Did she say our girl?
She said our
Our
girls. But it wouldn't have been such a big deal if it was just, Jake and Sammy and her. But she looked at Conrad and said, our girls. So even though she made girls plural, she was looking at Conrad when she said our. So that's what, see, I don't mind that. Billy's not attached to anybody. Billy can say that crap.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. He's not in love. He's not like engaged to Cade. They're not married. Like, I don't even think he said he loved her. Like, it'd be fine. Be fine. It's casual right now. She won't even spend time with his kid. She won't even spend time with his child. I don't think it's like what you would call serious relationship.
To
at this
be
point.
clear, I am not advocating for Cade in any way, shape, or form. I hate that
I'm just
relationship.
saying, I will defend it.
But I just want Conrad to be above reproach in all areas. Like I want him to be perfect.
Will though.
He'll make the right decision
do
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he won't do anything outright until he's just in denial.
But I think like the hard thing was because you heard Kate say at the beginning of this episode, I finally feel like I'm being accepted. And I actually said out loud, uh-oh. Because the moment she said that is the moment that she's about to get rejected from Conrad. And she's going to go for Billy. The moment she feels worth it is the moment her world's going to come tumbling down. And then she's never going to trust anybody again. But I mean,
she's being accepted by everybody at the hospital. But I mean, us fans have still not accepted her in any way. So sorry, Kate. Not going to happen.
Now, dislike for her, that's the more common ground, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Amanda is really on her own for the most part with this.
No, Eve.
He often seems to be.
I don't think
kind of with Amanda. Eve doesn't hate Kate.
Yeah, but she doesn't want like her to be with Conrad at all. Like even the people that like don't like hate Kate, I don't know anyone that wants her and Conrad to be a couple. I've not seen that anywhere.
I actually think because I said in our chat that I really liked Kate this episode, and I realized the reason I really liked her this episode, she wasn't anywhere near Conrad for most of it.
Yeah.
I like her apart from like I have no problem with her apart from Conrad. Stay
Mhm.
away from him. Don't touch him. Don't talk to him. Don't anything with him. And we're cool.
Well, I mean,
She has
I don't
more
know.
personality outside of Conrad.
I would agree. I would agree. And I think one of the biggest telling signs of like when we talk about like them as a couple was when like Gigi and Sammy are talking in the car. And you know that's a sad scene altogether because I mean when we start talking about like Nick and you know Sammy tells her the story about how her mom helped her and even Gigi said I wish I had known my mom, like that's heartbreaking. But like when she asked her, does your dad have a girlfriend? I mean, Gigi, and she's sweet. She didn't say like she hated her. She didn't say, ugh, I don't like, but she was like, she's okay. That's how I feel about Kate. Like she's okay. But that's it. She's just okay.
That's not how I
But
feel about her.
Gigi does love Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think if if she knew Aunt Billy was an option, she'd be all for that.
Oh,
I could see
yeah,
her
she
like
would.
parent trapping the heck out of that. Right? Can you see her just up to that?
100%. It would start with a I'm sick.
Yeah. I would
I
actually
love that
to see
idea.
that.
Yes.
Let's do that. Let's do
I would
that.
really like to see Gigi set them up. That would be fantastic. And you know,
Actually, Sammy could help her. Like her and Jake could hang around for a little while, and those two could make it happen.
I really want Jake and Sammy to move
Somebody
back.
call Amy Holder Jones and tell her this is what we should do.
We're advocating actively for Conrad. What's his last name? Starts with an R.
Rick, I don't know.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
right.
pronounce it.
Okay, yep.
It's like long. Okay.
It's Ricamora, right?
Yes, I think.
We are actively advocating for him to move back, for Jake to move back, for you to make Jessica the whistleblower on Ian, and for you to make Sammy and Gigi work together like the twins in the Parent Trap to get Billy and Conrad together.
Do it.
Please get it done.
Thank you.
You have our demands.
I mean, they're good ideas.
I mean, they are. We should be on staff. I feel like we give them a lot.
Put our check in the mail. It's fine.
I don't even need to get paid. Just do what I want. But here's the thing, though. I will say that oftentimes in these shows, we have no delusions that executives from these shows watch our podcast. Like, of course, you know what? I'm going to go with that. They have great ideas. We're going to steal them all. I don't think they're actually doing that. But it's funny that when we say an idea, usually within 2 to 3 episodes, like, hey, we said that.
It's like just putting good vibes out into the universe, and then that just happens.
That's what it is. We are just that good. But I think too that Billy, I mean, what a great she's already going to be a resource for Gigi to remember Nick. Already she's going to be that. But to have that intimate knowledge there, to be able to share that with her, because you know that it's not like her and Conrad. Now I was not okay with her and Conrad for a while. That would be weird. But once I saw that spark in the elevator, I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm on board. I just need to see the spark first. Yeah, I didn't say you were wrong. I just needed to see the spark first before I was like, okay, let's go this way.
But now you should say I'm right. Like that's the difference. I was right. They'll be wonderful together.
No.
Now I really sound like Maureen.
But I think it wouldn't be disrespectful to Nick's memory. I think it would be actually a comfort. And it sounds weird to say this, but I think it would be a comfort to Conrad and to Billy and to Gigi that they all had that same connection to the same person who brought them all together.
I still advocate for that. And I mean, because that's the thing about like, and I'm not saying like everyone should fall in love with their dead ex-wife or like best friend. Like, no. But if you did, like, at least that person, you understand, like they understand the love for this person. They're not going to come in and try to take that person's place because they have love for them as well. They're not going to care if like you want to talk about them or remember them or keep them, you know, a part of your life because they're going to likely want to do that as well. And I think there's some sort of like special like piece to that I think could really help. I don't know.
I agree with
I'm
that.
just saying.
Because it's hard for like, and I kind of imagine that with Cade, Conrad probably keeps the part about Nick locked up. because he doesn't want her to feel like he still loves her more than, or wants Nick more than Cade still. So I imagine that and it kind of feels that way, that he does keep a little bit of himself locked up, separate from Cade. And you can't have a full relationship that's lasting when you're keeping a part of yourself separate.
Exactly. Because I mean, there's a good, not to say like you wouldn't necessarily mean to get jealous, but like when you, I imagine that when you lose a spouse, like you may remarry and you may love that person. I mean, absolutely. But like, there's still going to be, there's a chance that that person you lost is still the love of your life.
You didn't choose to leave them and they didn't choose to leave you.
And that's okay. Not to say your love for this other person isn't also as great. It definitely can be. And that's what the difference is. Someone like Billy, I think, would not be upset by the fact that she was not the love of his life, because she knows that Nick was, and she knows how wonderful Nick, you know, was, and she would understand it. Whereas someone else wouldn't. And that's okay. I can understand why they wouldn't, because they didn't experience that.
Yeah.
So there's my piece on that.
And I mean, Cade did tell Conrad to go have fun at the wedding.
Now that was nice of her. She may have not meant that much.
I don't know if that's what she meant.
I mean, it's sort of on her. You gotta be real clear when you talk to dudes about what you're telling them to do.
This is true.
This is
You gotta lay it out.
Very true.
You didn't say how to have fun. You didn't say, hey, don't have an uber romantic slow dance where you slightly caress the woman of your dreams that you aren't telling me about.
Or
you
sing her songs about falling in love with her. Yeah, I mean, like, don't do that. She didn't say that.
No.
That's on her.
Definitely sounds like it's Cade's fault.
I think so.
I'll take that.
I was like, maybe I do like Cade. Good job, Cade. I'm happy about this altogether.
Cade is doing the Parent Trap. Okay, I see what you did there.
But that slow dance, my goodness. I mean, I legit had my own butterflies like watching the scene. I mean, it was like I was like smiling way too much, like to be watching a fictional couple on my TV. I was just like, oh my God.
It felt
I know you won't kiss her because they're, you know, people, but I really hope it happens soon.
But I think the defining thing there is that they didn't kiss, they didn't do anything appropriate touching, they didn't do anything like that. But it felt so intimate that I felt like I couldn't exactly look at the screen. Like I felt like I was intruding on something I shouldn't be intruding on.
My eyes were glued to the screen. But that's the difference.
I looked, but I was like, kind of like, I was like, I don't, okay, this is your moment. I don't know where I'm supposed to be right now. It's kind of what it felt like, because there was a moment where they both realized, oh my gosh, this is something more than what I thought it was. There's this moment where it's when there's a camera that's panning around them, and you see it on Billy's face first, and then you see Conrad kind of stop for a second. Like he just realized that he's in love with her.
Now I need them to realize that the other person is also in love with them, because that's what's going to be that, like, he's realized, yes, I love Billy. Billy's already known, yes, I love Conrad. Now I need you all to realize that the other person loves you too, so that we can move forward with this. That's where we're not.
Well, I mean, next week is going to deal a lot with this.
Everybody saw that. And I was thinking that too. I'm like, y'all are in a room full of like coworkers that also work with Cade. Like, this is like a lot.
Who showed Cade? Who was like, you know what? I'm close enough to Cade now that I feel like I have to be the one to share this with her. Like, Cade's not connected with anybody in that hospital, but someone felt responsible enough to go and show her this video of Cade, of Billy and Conrad dancing.
Maybe they're like, what? Maybe it's a video. Here's what I'm thinking. Like, maybe there's like a video of like
everybody
Kit and Belle dancing, and like somehow it pan, and like they're showing her because she missed it, and it pans over, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute.
It looked like he was showing her pictures, and he took a picture of them dancing.
Oh, it was a picture. Okay. Yeah. Because otherwise, I mean, that's just mean to do to Cade, because she's not close to any of you yet. And for someone to go, that just feels mean and targeted.
I mean, maybe they feel the race. Maybe it's another Conrad Billy shipper, and they're like, here, let's show her this, and we'll get her out of the way. Maybe Jessica is a secret like Conrad Billy shipper, and she's
I'm sure she is.
Why wouldn't she?
If you had to think about who was Jessica's team, who would she pick? She would 100% go Billy Conrad. 100%. everyone in the hospital loved Nick so much, they're gonna go Billy Conrad.
Mhm.
They don't like Kate because Kate's cold. At least, well, she's not anymore. She's warming up. So
Still,
yeah. And I
she's
mean,
not
like
Billy.
it was all them in the
Yeah.
preview. Like there was the point where he said Billy woke up and said, "I woke up a little confused this morning," and I was like, "Whoa, wait, what? What do you mean you woke up confused?" But then he was like, "Yeah, I did too." Oh my, what did you do?
They purposely made that sound nefarious, and it wasn't.
It's not.
But like,
They both separated, went home and thought about it, and then woke up like, "What did I just do?"
but I thought that too. I said, "Oh, well, did you have a little too much to drink, too much champagne? Like, what happened?" But then I was like, "Wait, I'm watching The Resident. That's not what happened. If this was Grey's Anatomy, that's absolutely what happened."
Yeah, I think that they just went home separately and they thought about the dance, and then they thought about the dance, and then they continued to think about the dance, and they're like, okay.
I would think about that dance every day for the rest of my life if that happened to me.
It was a pretty good
No,
dance.
you would too, huh?
It was a pretty good dance.
Yeah.
It was very good. Like, I'm gonna say something here. I don't
Say
know that
it.
my husband's and my first dance was that intimate close.
Well,
We've been married
mine
for
and David's-
15 years, and I don't think our first dance was like that at all.
Our first dance was probably at like some bar, like booty shaking. So
Oh, I
I'm
mean,
not
at
sure
our
what
wedding,
exactly
first dance at
happened.
our wedding.
Oh, ours was actually. We had
Ours
like
was-
pictures, like we were just all like not paying attention, like to anyone else. It was sweet.
I was trying to like make him have a conversation with me while we did it. He was like, I don't want to be up here. I don't want people to look at me.
No, we were all, well. See, I had to like not like I don't know because I got embarrassed too. So no, there's pictures of us kissing on the dance floor and like yeah, no, we were in our own. So
Yeah, even the way we were like holding each other looked weird and awkward.
oh no. I thought you just meant first dance because this wasn't their wedding, and I'm thinking.
I think that
Our
was
first
our
dance
first
with
dance.
David.
My husband does not do that.
Oh well,
Oh no, we went to a couple weddings before where he pretty much had the exact same reaction. So
no.
he doesn't do that. But the fact that they had that, I would absolutely think about that forever and ever and ever. That would sustain me.
Forever. Mhm.
So I can't wait to see that conversation unfold, because I doubt they're going to have it right there at the nurse's
They're
station.
not.
I doubt
They're
anything
not.
is going to be decided that week, because I think they're going to draw this out as long as they can. But Kate is certainly going to have a conversation with him. And how did she say in the preview? She said, I don't think we're being honest with each other.
Yeah.
So what's Kate's secret? If she's not being honest with him, where are you going with this? Because I don't think she's got anybody else in mind. I think it's all Conrad for her. But maybe it's the reason she's not going to hang out with Gigi. Maybe that's what her secret is. Maybe there's something that's holding her back from that. She's finally going to disclose that. I think what we'll get next in 2 weeks, by the time you see this, it'll be about a week.
Mhm.
But we're recording when there's 2 weeks left. So remember, it doesn't return until Tuesday, November 8th. And at that episode, I think that we're going to see a conversation between Kate and Billy. And I don't even think that will be resolved, but I think that they're going to be the ones to have a real conversation in that episode. I think Billy and Conrad are going to make eyes at each other the whole episode and make casual comments and like get stuck gazing at each other. But I think that there's going to be a lot of medical things that intervene that won't allow them to. Maybe the episode after that, they'll have a conversation. That's my guess.
I think they're going to drag out them actually being together till the season finale.
Mhm.
Or at least the
Maybe
mid-season finale, if nothing else.
I think it's going to be season finale altogether.
I don't know that they can hold it off that long. Unless they break up Cade and Conrad, and Billy and Conrad decide for Gigi, we're just not going to do anything right now.
Yeah. See, I think more of like he'll try to hide it more and put more of an effort in with Kate and not be able to, like, that's how I would do it. Like, give us more like of the law. I don't know.
I think
they'll
Conrad's
drag
too
it out.
honest for that.
But I don't think he will. I think the difference that he won't want to admit his feelings. Even if he feels them, he will try to push them down out of respect for Nick. And he will not want to admit these until it is absolutely in his face. He cannot deny it anymore. I really think that he'll try to like, no, because I think he's trying to convince himself that's not there.
Tiffany, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's also trying to convince himself that it's not there. Just because of Nick. I think he's just got Nick on always in the back of his mind. Billy was her best friend. I get it, but
Yeah.
you know, she loves him. She loves his daughter as if she
Mhm.
were her own.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
worth
and-
exploring.
And like, I mean, I know they may not parent trap them like we said with Gigi, but I really do think it might take something from Gigi
Mhm.
to really like. It's almost like if she could possibly tell him that she approved, like that she's okay with it, that might be a push for him as well
Mm-hmm.
to like, because he's probably thinking like that might be weird because that's Aunt Billy and whatever. I mean, I feel like that's what I would be thinking. So as long until he finds out Gigi's okay with it. So maybe I don't know. We'll see. Show Gigi the pictures. See what she thinks. Because maybe she was already in bed by then. I don't know.
I think one or two things will happen. And I don't think that Conrad's going to deny his feelings. I think that he is going to, I think he has started to realize them, starting with the elevator and the way Billy responded when he said, "Do you think Nick would approve?" Billy's
Mhm.
response there, I think, has been in his mind since that conversation. I don't think he's ever lost sight of Billy saying that.
Mhm.
And then with the denial thing we had last week, and then with the preview for next week, where they're like, "Hey, yep, we're confused about this." I think that he is going to either A, say, "You know what, I'm not going to be with Cade right now. I do have feelings for you, but I don't think that we can pursue anything, and we're just not going to pursue it." And then maybe season finale, they'll come together because they realize they're both being dumb about trying to stay apart. Or he'll go up to Gigi and say something along the lines of, "What do you think of Aunt Billy?" And then
Mhm.
Gigi will fuse on her and say, I think Gigi could even say something like, "I wish she was my mommy," or
Yeah.
something along those lines. And then Connor would be like, "Okay, I have the green light."
Yeah.
And mid-season finale, they'll be together.
Yeah.
Those are my two predictions.
We'll see.
So we'll see what happens next week, November 8th, not next week. There is no episode next week. So you will not get a Fox Night from us next week because both 911 and the resident are taking a break. Also, Chicago's taking a break the Thursday before that. So, or
Mhm.
Wednesday before that. So I think there's a lot of, is Grace taking a break?
Not yet, but they
They
didn't start
started
till
late.
October. Mhm.
That's right. They started late. So tonight, you guys are getting your Fox night. Tuesday, you will not have our NBC night because One Chicago has taken a break. Wednesday, you'll have our ABC night with Grey's Anatomy Station 19. And we will be back next Tuesday with our One Chicago. So stay tuned for that. Check out our Facebook groups. We have 911, 911 Family Fan Club, and the Resident Chastain Family Fan Club. Lots of things going on there. We want to know what you think. And we might have some fun things coming down the pike for you. So join those groups, start some conversations, tell your friends. Don't forget to share and subscribe this podcast. We want to be able to continue to give you content that you like. And we're hoping to bring you much bigger things. So you could go ahead and like and subscribe. Rate us on the podcast platform you listen to us on. And we'll see you real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.